of opening the first trial in history poses a grave responsibility. The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant and so devastating that civilization cannot tolerate their being ignored, because it cannot survive their being repeated. That four great nations, flushed with victory and stung with injury, stay the hand of vengeance and voluntarily submit their captive enemies to the judgment of the law is one of the most significant tributes that power has ever paid to reason. This tribunal, while it is novel and experimental,
only those who have failed to learn the bitter lessons of the last decade can doubt that men who have always played on the unsuspecting credulity of generous opponents would not hesitate to do the same now. It is against such a background that these defendants now ask this tribunal to say that they are not guilty of planning, executing, or conspiring to commit this long list of crimes and wrongs. They stand before the record of this trial as blood-stained Gloucester stood by the body of his slain king. He begged of the widow, as they beg of you, "Say I slew them not." And the Queen replied, "Then say they were not slain, but dead they are." If you were to say of these men that they are not guilty, it would be as true to say that there has been no war, that there are no slain, that there has been no crime.
Are they that naive, or do they just not care? That each of these skeletons tells me in their own matter-of-fact voice their story. I was beaten this way, I was beaten that way, I raised my arm in defense just so. Here and here and here. A whole field of people whose Achilles tendons have been slashed. Were they able to take 2 or 3 or 4 darting steps, or none at all, in their efforts to escape?
Why I woke up so early, I can't see what time it is. The clock, it's buried under last night's reading. A pile of parents' magazines, a trashy historical romance, and the wisdom of Abraham Heschel. John reaches out to touch my back, but I'm already sitting up in a cold sweat. Today I remember I go to court, one of several selected, or rather chosen to examine whether I am Jewish enough. courtroom. He opened out his big black cloak and he said to me, "Jump." I said, "Why me?" He said, "Because your grandfather's great-great-grandfather told me to watch out for you." He said we both like each other, that we were dancers. It won't happen because science has recently been unlocking so many secrets about the web of life. It won't happen because we finally have an endangered species list. It won't happen because it's against the rules. It won't happen because people are really good. It won't happen because people are really good at art. It won't happen because it would hurt too much. It won't happen because
How do I ask myself a question?
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, music's rolling.
Standing by.
And lights, can you be in 471, please?
How do I ask myself a question?
Thank you. Video, go.
Well, I'm very visual. Well, I don't know. Questions for me in biology just kind of present themselves. Sometimes you see a structure in a cell. So, for example...
Okay, I'm rolling.
How do I ask myself a question?
Science is not neutral. Never has been and never will be.
2 months into my research, I started saying to people, well, it could be this could be about capitalism, this could be about religion, this can be about science, this can be about research, because it turns out that genetics affects so many different things. So that's why I got interested first. Then, as I researched more, I began to get excited about a couple of things. One, talking to the scientists, because they're just fabulous. And scientists all over the country have been incredibly generous with their time, and they like talking about their work, and I think they like talking to artists about it.
So so what I could imagine that dancers would be, you could start out by just laying dancers out end to end on the floor, head to foot, head to foot, head to foot, end to end on the floor, head to foot, head to foot, head to foot. You could start out by just laying dancers out, laying dancers out, end to end on the floor, head to foot, head to foot, head to foot.
One of the things, it's the genome shuffle, okay, if you will, if you want to put it to a dance, because if you look, when we reconstructed the ancestor, you see all of the mammalian genomes. If you look, when we reconstructed the ancestor, you see all of the mammalian genomes are basically just reshuffled pieces of this same ancestral genome. We're all very similar.
Basically, measurement is an impossibility. Infinitely precise measurement. It's impossible. We can't do it. We don't have the tools. The infinitely precise tools. The infinitely precise measuring tools. We've got very good tools. We've got the best tools we've ever had. But very good doesn't cut it. The best doesn't even cut it. We need infinite precision. We can only work on a probability basis. We can't say for sure. There is no sure. Sure is gone.
בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ. והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום. ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים. ויאמר אלוהים יהי אור ויהי אור. וירא אלוהים את האור טוב. ויבדל
No pictures. No pictures. No pictures. No pictures. It's dark.